Well, we hear a lot, don't we, from bureaucrats and politicians and the great and the good, how important small businesses are to the economy, as indeed they are, and I've been saying so for years. But unlike the mainstream politicians, I've actually run a small business, I've started a small business, I'm associated with small businesses, and I have been for some years. Now, the problem is with our modern day politicians is that they don't actually interface with small companies. David Cameron doesn't go into his local hairdresser, he doesn't go into his local delicatessen, he doesn't go into his local cafe, and all the sort of things that ordinary people do. So he sends people out to go to focus groups and the such like, to find out what people are actually thinking, which is absolutely hopeless. You need to get out and you need to actually talk to people. And one of the interesting things when I was actually helping in the Barnsley by-election, I spoke to a lot of people in Yorkshire, and I do visit these local businesses and these local services. And the one thing that they all had to say was just how much the bureaucracy was getting in their way. They didn't want anything out of the local councils, for example. They didn't want anything out of the local quangos and the people who interfere with small businesses all the time. They just wanted to be left alone. And I could tell you all the stories now if I wanted to, but I'm not. They've been very kind and they've decided that they're going to talk to you themselves for a few minutes each one. These are all genuine cases. I think you'll be fascinated to listen to what they have to say, and I just hope we can get the Chancellor and the Prime Minister and the highly overpaid chief executives of most local councils to listen in and understand just why and how people are really so cheesed off with the bureaucracy that gets in the way of small businesses today.
Hello, my name's Jane Collins. I'm Regional Organiser for the UK Independence Party in Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire. I was also the candidate in the Barnsley by-election. During my campaigning in Barnsley, I met a lot of small business people and was involved in looking at their businesses and how we could help them. The one thing that came across was how much they were creative, they had loads of talent and loads of enthusiasm. But the other thing that came across was how they were being let down by petty bureaucracy and European legislation. Dean runs a beautiful, friendly cafe in the middle of Barnsley. He is professional, friendly and very thoughtful towards his customers. Unfortunately, his professionalism and helpfulness is not matched by the local authority.
I've been a trained chef for 20 years, a trained waiter, trained wine waiter. I'm also a trained barber. I've had my own barber shop. And then when I came back into this business, I saw this business came up for opportunity in the local Barnsley Chronicle. Phoned up, came and had a good look that afternoon, and I said to him, that's it, I want it. I were in here Monday morning, decorating, you know, and then about a month, 6 weeks later, we opened. We serve good quality food. It's a lot of traditional English food with a modern twist. We've had comedy nights here. As you can see, over all the walls, we've got local artists to try and encourage something a little bit different. And I think that's the reason why we're successful. I think the biggest challenge is when you're trying to get your business up and running, you're hit with you know, petty rules and, you know, petty bureaucracy really. It's got 3 tables outside, and to put them 3 tables outside, it costs £250 a year. I put the tables and chairs out obviously last year, you know, back end of August, and then I had a nasty letter from the council saying that I'd not got a licence to actually put these tables outside. If I didn't fetch them back in, they potentially were going to take me to court and fine me anything up to £3,000. When I actually phoned up the head of regulatory services in Barnsley, he didn't actually know it existed. This cafe payment tax, whatever you can call it. When I went round to pay the fee, £250, the person behind the desk didn't actually know how to process the fee. There wasn't no code. It was just a farce. It was a farce. I think the £250 fee to put 3 tables and chairs outside, I think it's petty. I think it's unnecessary. I fail to see why I should have to pay what is an extra tax on top of my business rates, on top of everything else, just for 3 tables. I mean, you've got VAT for a start, which is 20%. You've got your business rates, which for a medium-sized place like this is a couple of £1,000 a year. Obviously, then there's a £250 tax for that. There's a £70 a year licence fee. There's a £700 fee for the PPL and PRS. It's what you've got to do to achieve your break-even point in the business before you actually start making money. And for a place like this, it's about £800–900 a week. That's before I even start paying myself a wage, paying staff, paying for everything else. You know, so it's not easy. Unless you're experienced, you can quite fail quite easily. If members of the council run their own businesses, they would know exactly what problems business owners face today. You know, you do something positive, and there's always like somebody on the council, you know, who gets paid by local taxpayers. Well, you can't do this, you can't do that, blah, 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 and it just makes you frustrated.
Most of us need to get our hair cut every now and then. Most men think of it as a chore. Julie runs a small barber's in Howden. She thought she could make things a little bit better for her customers by providing them with a television, until she ran into one of the silliest rules that small businesses are subject to.
I've been here 2 years in May. I've been self-employed for 22 years. Being self-employed, I've got control of my own destiny. You know, if I don't make it work, I lose my business. At one time you can have, depending on the day really, you can have one in, one out, but then other days, on a busy day, I can have up to like 4 or 5 people sat waiting for the haircut. The TV on the wall basically is for the comfort of my customers while they're sat waiting. It's boring sat waiting. You know, it's nice to have something there that, you know, can keep them interested while I'm cutting somebody else's hair, so they don't walk out of my shop and go somewhere else. It's not getting used like it would be in a family home. How I found out that I have to have this licence, they got someone come round to, they must have gone to everywhere in Howden, spying on you, basically. This chap come in, he walked through the door, he looked at the television, he put this envelope down, and then said, I'm from PRS. I ain't got a clue who it was. And he walked out. Then when I rung this company up, and at first they said that it was a music licence. So I said, no, I'm not paying it. I don't play music. I don't have the radio on. You know, I have the TV on. And they just turned around and says, well, that's actually got music on it. Anyway, a couple of days later, I got a letter come through from the debt company. When I rang them up, I just said to them, why? Why do we have to pay this on top of a TV licence? You just do. It's been set in stone that you do have to pay it. I suppose it is blackmail, really. I will pay it because I don't want to get any, you know, I don't want to be blacklisted, basically, for bad, you know, a bad credit rating. I mean, it's hard enough when you're self-employed as it is, getting credit off anybody. Nobody wants to know. Your mortgage companies, finance companies. I've tried to get a mortgage with it being a new business. I've only been 2 years. I don't want to know you. I think it does make a big difference. These, you know, little charges that you get occurred on you, they all add up. Before you've even started earning anything, the money that you've got to give out, like I say, it's almost £300 for the television on there. You get your business rates, they're about £4,500 a year. Same with the rent of this place. Everything that you get charged, yeah, could, you know, make all the difference in you staying open and you're closing down.
Pubs have been on the receiving end of more interference than any other sector. Every week, around 50 pubs close down due to economic pressure, added to by pointless regulations and interference. It's not just businesses that are being closed down. In small towns, the pub is the centre of informal local life. We met Jo, who runs a vibrant, popular and friendly pub in Howden, in spite of all the bureaucracy she has to deal with.
I've been here for 2.5 years. I like being my own boss. It means the fact that I'm actually in charge of something and actually growing something and hopefully changing things. If places like this didn't exist, then a lot of people, both young and old, wouldn't have anywhere to go. The pub used to be the community, part of the local community, and it's just stopping. It's like the post offices, how they've disappeared, and it's apparently progress. When I first came here, there was already a licence on the premises. The the licence is quite a severe licence in the things that I've got to do. When I wanted to actually change the bar, for instance, I had to go through building regs, I had to reapply on my licence, I had to send copies to at least 10 different people. One of them was even the Ports Office. What they've got to do with my licence, I don't know. And then we have to pay for it in a paper, which costs me £80 at that time, and then I've got to put it in my window for 28 days in case anybody doesn't want me to do it. I would have to put lobbies on my toilets so that a disabled wheelchair could get into the lobby. But by law, because I'm not actually changing the toilets inside, I don't have to have a disabled toilet. That to me is completely crazy. I did all the other things they asked me for. I've now got 10 sinks in here, which is absolutely wonderful if you want to wash your hands in 10 sinks. I cannot logically see why I need 10 sinks. You've got the council, then you've got the town council, then you've got the fire brigade, and you've got somebody else. And when I first took this over, the fire brigade said I had to have my doors open outside. But the town council here said that I have to have my outside doors closed. So now what do? They will not come together with each other and actually ring them up and work it out. When I first came here, obviously I was actually taking more money than I am now. So my rateable value actually goes on the takings from the bar. So I've had a rate increase. That's made a massive difference to me, along with the hike in gas, electric and everything else. I've put an appeal in, which I put in last August, and I've just had a letter from them saying that they'll look at it October 2011, this October. Now, okay, I know that they're busy, but that's me staying alive or not staying alive. I won't find out until October whether or not they're going to reduce my rates. Why should I have to wait over a year for somebody to actually look at my new accounts? My rateable value, I know it's incorrect, it's wrong, but nobody's looking at it. I think primarily the government's got it wrong with taxing us in so many different ways. The thing that's affected me more than anything else is the fact that people can get cheap alcohol and the fact that people can get cheap drugs. Why would you come into here and spend £2.90 on a pint of Stella when you can actually go to a supermarket and buy 3 cases for £20? Why would you do that? On a Friday you'd get people coming out earlier and just steadily enjoying themselves. Now people are coming out later and have probably gone to the supermarket and they've got cheap drink, and then they'll come here and spend even less. And that really frustrates me. It annoys me so much that we're being taxed completely and utterly by everybody out of business, and we definitely are. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are. The government are responsible for the pubs closing down.
Running a small business is hard. Long hours, financial risk, and a responsibility for customers and employees. They're being made to jump through hoops for no good reason and robbed of their income. We must cut bureaucratic red tape and European legislation to help these businesses survive and flourish.